Good evening. Welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ+ daily evening television news, broadcasting live and available on demand. Available on all smart televisions, including Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, Amazon Fire TV, YouTube, and Facebook. It's time to queer up the news. It's Thursday, June 29th, 2023, and we are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we are going to tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first live daily LGBTQ evening news show, literally out of the closet and into the headlines on Queer News Tonight with Al Ferguson.
I'm your anchor at Queer News Tonight, Julio Capo Jr. This evening we bring you the news of and a perspective representing the LGBTQ+ community from South Florida, America, and across our planet.
This is the world's first and only unedited live LGBTQ+ evening news show. Whatever happens unique in LGBTQ+ news, you will see it and hear it.
Hotspots Magazine Happening Out Television Network is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model of PBS and NPR, but designed for the LGBTQ+ community. Our mission is to support the 10 pillars of our LGBTQ+ community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of our Black community, Latino, lesbian, trans, students, youth, seniors, HIV/AIDS healthcare, business, social justice, and faith. Help us support our community.
We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ+ media companies in America, Hotspots Magazine and the Happening Out Television Network.
Our magazine is celebrating 38 years of the LGBTQ+ experience, and our television news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ+ and broader community.
Now, let's welcome anchor Jess Rachel. Jess has lived in New York City, Los Angeles, Nashville, and now her new home, Miami. She is the founder of Soaring Vibrations. Welcome, Jess.
In the gay agenda, End of Pride Revive on July 1st at Palomar South Beach. The End of Pride Revive event is set to treat you on July 1st, and it will be held at Kipton Hotel, Palomar South Beach. The event will kickstart at 6 p.m. with a euphoric silent disco dance party, followed by ice baths, a Swedish massage group class, and a gratitude pride sharing circle. Cannabis drinks will also be included. It is time to revive your soul after the Pride Month madness. Soaring Vibrations has brought Les Hideout and Miami Ice Club together to bring this unique wellness experience.
Let's welcome anchor Gregg Shapiro, an inductee into the Chicago LGBT Hall of Fame. Gregg is the author of 9 books. His entertainment coverage, including celebrity interviews, runs in a variety of regional print and online publications. Hey, Gregg.
Hello, and happy National Handshake Day. In the gay agenda, Miami Shore's Village Pride Brunch on July 1st. Here is a fun event that offers more than just entertainment. Raise a glass and dance the day away at Miami Shore's Country Club. The event supports Miami Shore's Pride and empowers LGBT youth's college dreams. The event will also feature a silent auction of exclusive items, including Broadway in Miami show tickets and Brightline experiences.
Let's welcome anchor Elijah Manley. Elijah is a community organizer, activist, and formerly the youngest ever candidate for the Florida House of Representatives. He is the owner of Benchmark Strategies, a South Florida consulting firm. Hey, Elijah.
Howdy, howdy. Everybody, in the gay agenda, Urge Miami Thanksgiving Festival in November. Urge Miami Thanksgiving Festival is set to rock your life in November from November 24th through 27th. The festival will feature Ben Batson, Jesus Montanez, and Lisa Rodriguez. The weekend pass is now available. Phase 1 of the regular and VIP entries are already sold out. Phase 2 and 3 are open. This will be a 3-day event with pool parties, overnight dance parties, and an open bar, and more.
And now let's welcome anchor Bob Hentschel. An accountant by profession, Bob is on the planning committee for My Hollywood Pride. He describes himself as a nice widow man with a house in Dania Beach, a Disney Vacation Club membership, and a self-supporting cash flow. Hey, Bob.
Hello. In the gay agenda, Gay Days Anaheim from September 22nd to the 24th. Years ago, when Disneyland closed early more often, they would rent the park out for private parties. One such party was a gay night, but it never fulfilled the gay crowd completely, and that is when Gay Days Anaheim started in 1998. This year, Gay Days Anaheim will be from September 22nd to the 24th. The event will be at the Disneyland Resort and will be open to both queers and straights. Hotel bookings and tickets for the event are open already. For more information, go to gaydaysanaheim.com.
We are the reporters for Queer News Tonight, and this evening we begin with the queer headlines. The LGBTQ plus community in South Florida and across America is diverse. Our community across the world is vast. And here are the bullet points of the queer news for today, Thursday, June 29th. Let's begin with queering up the world view. Queer News Tonight anchor Al Ferguson appears as Marshal in Medellín Pride. Al Ferguson, the lead anchor of Queer News Tonight, is on assignment this week in Colombia to see firsthand the growing Medellín Pride celebration. Al is traveling with a delegation of 20 journalists from across North America, hosted by Out in Colombia, a leading LGBTQ plus tour operator based in Medellín. Al is traveling with owner and founder Sam Holdren and Out in Colombia operations manager Juan David Burja. Colombia has a growing fascination for the American LGBTQ plus community because of their very positive position on diversity, inclusion, and LGBTQ plus civil rights. With more than 7 million people, Colombia's capital, Bogotá, also has a major Pride celebration this week. But the major event in this entire country is this week's Medellín Pride. This city of 2.5 million hosts South America's most festive march, parade, parties, and more. More than 100,000 people are expected to attend. Many compare Medellín's importance in Colombia as a gay mecca to San Francisco. With more than a dozen bars, circuit party events, and a queer central neighborhood of Poblado at 4,500 feet, this mountain city has everything, or has something for every LGBTQ plus travel enthusiast. The host of Happening Out Television Network's new television show, Unapologetically Queer, will be a special guest riding in the parade representing the American and Canadian journalists to support Medellín Pride. According to Medellín Pride director Sebastián Arenas, more than 350 volunteers make Pride possible. This year, he is also focusing on support of the trans community. He said, quote, "Pride Medellín 2023 has a trans bet. We ask for a comprehensive law that guarantees the rights of this population. The bet includes the colors and visibility of trans people and trans organizations," end quote. The first part of Al's visit has been to the coastal city of Santa Marta, where he attended the Pride March, a literal queer walking march through the streets of this major resort on the Caribbean. New nonstop flights, just introduced by Avianca, connect Miami and Santa Marta. Colombia's queer capital of Medellín has nonstop service from both Fort Lauderdale and Miami and many other U.S. cities. Ferguson will be extensively reporting about South America and the continent's most lively parade, circuit parties, and queer celebrations in the coming days. And I bet we're all really looking forward to hearing more about his stories. And I mean, I'm very jealous. And it's not often that I get to be jealous of Al, because, Al.
And 100,000 people, right? I mean, that is incredible. Yeah. I would just love to feel that energy.
Let's go next year.
Let's go.
Al who?
I want to know, because the rest of you are too young to remember, but I remember when Medellín was like, you dare not go there.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
So
they had a certain business issue going on there, yeah.
No.
Yes.
But, you know, I want to kind of hear, how safe did he feel? Because I have a friend who shall remain nameless who has bought property in a South American country that shall remain nameless because he's worried about what's happening up here. So I'd be very interested. Yeah. It's like, you know, we may need to, you know, you may be familiar with an organization called the Rainbow Railroad. Mm-hmm. We may need it to get the hell out of here.
For sure. Well, coincidentally, my husband Rick, who is a travel writer, is also on the same Colombian press trip with Al. I spoke to Rick earlier. They went to a cocoa farm today. They're still in Santa Marta, and then they leave for Medellín, I think, the day after. They're having a really wonderful time, and I miss them, and
why didn't you go? Why didn't you go? He didn't invite you?
Well, part of the thing is that I haven't been on an airplane since 1995.
Oh, wow.
And it's a long drive. So.
Quite a long drive.
Yes.
Great. Well, we look forward to hearing about all of it, Al, when you get back.
Next, let's queer up entertainment. Madonna out of ICU, but postponing tour after bacterial infection. Madonna was rushed to a hospital in New York City on Saturday night after she was found unresponsive. The 64-year-old singer was reportedly intubated for at least a night. She was awake and recovering Wednesday with the tube removed. Her manager, Guy Osiri, confirmed the health scare via an Instagram post on Wednesday, saying that she had developed a serious bacterial infection, which led to a several-day stay in the ICU. But her health is improving, and she will be kept under medical care until she is fully recovered. The post also cleared that the singer will have to pause all her commitments, including her upcoming Celebration tour, which was planned to start on July 15th in Vancouver. Madonna announced the Celebration tour earlier this year to commemorate the 40th anniversary of her music career. The global mega tour was set to hit 43 cities and last through the end of January 2024. According to the statement by her manager, the tour is postponed until further notice. More details of Madonna's infection and hospitalization are still not revealed. However, as per the reports, her daughter Lourdes Leon was by her side throughout the scare. Okay, here comes the hate mail. How did they know she was unresponsive? Her face hasn't moved an inch since her botched plastic surgery.
I personally find Madonna to be so overrated.
Totally. Totally.
Oh my God.
I'm going to take a different take.
Okay.
We just lost Tina Turner. Okay, and I was a big fan of Tina Turner, going back forever. So I was not prepared to lose another pipe icon from my remote youth just yet. So
Tina Turner is also 20 years older.
Yeah, the age.
Well, I'm just happy to hear that she's in borderline condition. Sounds like she's going to live to tell.
I wouldn't want anything bad to happen to her. I just think she's overrated, and I wish that she would come to us and tell us like what is going on with Britney. You know, that's what I really knows? I do. I mean, she was at her wedding.
Yeah, I would like to hear that too.
I really would like.
I mean, I don't want to be a hypocrite because I have to say, in general, I haven't liked her in a few years. Like, it's been a minute, but like, then when she announced this tour, which by the way, this is one. We do all hope, of course, that she recovers quickly, and that, you know, we care very much about her health, and I mean, you know, we want her to be well. But also, it's an enormous economic engine, like this tour. So, like, what this will mean, postponing and all these sorts of things for local economies. So like a lot of shifts are going to happen as a result of all this. So it's an important story and also Lourdes looks gorgeous, right? I mean, I don't neither here nor there. But to sound like a hypocrite or not sound like a hypocrite, I haven't liked her in a long time. And when she announced this tour, my sister, who is my best, we're very close. We've seen her a few times, and she was like, well, should we go? And I was like, I couldn't possibly. And then we texted again, and then she's like, but we're going. I'm like, well, of course. I felt, and we did buy tickets, and we did.
Oh, okay.
So I do feel very hypocritical, because I feel both ways, because she's still, as you said, Bob.
You don't think that this health crisis is because maybe Beyonce is outselling her for her tour? I'm just asking.
Wow.
Tell me, Madonna, if you're watching this right now, I have nothing to do with them.
Yeah, Elijah supports you fully. And so do
Support you
I,
fully,
mostly.
Madonna.
Yeah.
Madonna, you are always welcome in my home.
She had
I wasn't alive when you were making music, but
she had enough hit songs that the jokes wrote themselves. I'm sorry.
Can I just embarrass Elijah a little bit, because he had a moment with a diva yesterday.
yes, a real deal diva.
Say it.
Mrs. Alicia Keys, the queen of it all.
Oh, yes, she was performing out here. Yes, I saw that.
And that's why my voice is gone from last night.
Lucky you.
All right.
And then she kind of gave me a little shout out on Twitter.
Not kinda. She definitely did.
I love
that.
I love you too.
I love Alicia Keys. I went to her high school, so she has a soft place in my heart.
This story became about Alicia Keys. The way only queers could do.
Sorry, Madonna. You're no fun
And
anymore.
we wish you a very speedy recovery, and yeah.
Yes. Next, let's queer up entertainment. Sunny Bunny wraps up after being Ukraine's first LGBTQ plus film festival. On a gray and rainy afternoon, about 35 people settled into velvety red seats in a small and stuffy underground movie theater. 2 carried rainbow umbrellas. When the lights went down, the cartoon images that flashed on the screen were a reminder that this was a unique moment in time, a soldier preparing for war, then kissing another soldier of the same sex. The sold-out screening, a Ukrainian queer short film retrospective, was one of dozens held in Kiev as part of the country's first ever queer film festival. The Sunny Bunny LGBTQIA+ Film Festival is an offshoot of the Modalist International Festival, which began in 1970 and is devoted to promoting young filmmakers. Bohdan Zuk, the director of the 7-day festival, said he had thought about organizing an LGBTQ+ festival for a few years, but was delayed by the pandemic. LGBTQ+ people in Ukraine routinely face discrimination, and pride events in the country have in the past been marred by threats and violence from anti-gay protesters and far-right groups. Additionally, war affects marginalized groups like LGBTQ+ members of the military differently. They do not have the same protections as straight soldiers. The conversations prompted by more than 60 films being shown at the festival are therefore critical. Well, this has a soft place in my heart for sure, because my family's from Ukraine. My mom was born in Kiev when it was still the Soviet Union. Wow. So I'm definitely, this is close to home for me, and I just pray so much for all the LGBTQ+ members in that part of the world, because we just don't even know what it's like for them. It's absolutely devastating.
Well, and as someone who writes about film and has covered a number of LGBTQ+ film festivals, I find this to be really exciting news. I mean, really, the more queer voices in film, the better, because as we always say here on Queer News Tonight, representation matters.
Right, and we need, we talked about the conversations that sparked. They are still, that they're critical there, but they're still critical here, because if I remember correctly, and my memory isn't as good as it was 20 years ago, the former guy banned transgender people from the military the minute he came into office. And it's like, all we need is a Republican to get cramps and they'll do it again.
Right.
Yeah. I definitely think it's pretty incredible what this filmmaker, Bohdan Zuk, I'm so sorry if I'm butchering the name, but really admirable what he's creating for, the people of Ukraine and in that region of the world.
It's a ray of sunshine in a region of the world where you don't have much of that. And that's not the case in the neighboring country, the other one. Where they're throwing gay people in jail off of buildings in Russia. And
well, there was a Baltic country that just passed gay marriage. I don't remember which one. I remember
Estonia.
But there's still, I
I'm
mean,
not surprised
so that's a
at
glimmer
all.
of hope, no doubt. And I think we have to celebrate these massive glimmers of hope because it's so easy to focus. I mean, but also, it also shows the clear necessity of like opening things up, right? Like that is with the amount of I mean, in some ways, it's hard for me to wrap my head around like moments of celebration in the Ukraine at all when they're going through so much to be a war-torn country, and to find moments like that's resilience, and that's the power of the people, right? In so many ways, and that, I find that to be such a beautiful testament to all of that. So
Yeah, very well
more of
said.
that.
Well, next, let's queer up health. Federal judge temporarily blocks Kentucky's ban on hormone treatments as gender-affirming care. Kentucky's full ban on gender-affirming healthcare for transgender kids was set to go into effect at midnight on Thursday, but a federal court issued a temporary block just hours before it happened. Although advocates are happy with the court order to currently block the ban, they still worry about what could happen if the block is lifted. They argue the ban will have tough impacts on trans kids who currently receive treatment in Kentucky. They will no longer be able to receive that level of healthcare in the state. Rebecca Blankenship, a trans woman who is fighting against the ban, says that although LGBTQ plus advocates worry about increased suicides as a potential result of Kentucky's ban, the trans community is resilient. While some are relieved by this block, some are not. Attorney General Daniel Cameron calls the federal court's action on the ban a misguided decision that tramples the right of the General Assembly to make public policy for the Commonwealth. He mentions Senate Bill 150 and says it is a common sense law that protects Kentucky children from unnecessary medical experimentation with powerful drugs and hormone treatments. Cameron says, and I quote, "I will always fight the radical idea that risky drugs and life-altering surgical mutilations should be tools to put confused children on an inevitable path towards a life of gender dysphoria," end quote. I just don't like this guy at all. I'm sorry, like he works very hard overnight to try to please the white supremacist Republican Party. So him along with Clarence Thomas are the worst of the cattle.
For sure. And I'm still unclear about why a man with a law degree from the University of Louisville, no less, thinks he's in a position to make decisions about the medical well-being of others. I mean, if there's one bright spot, and there is one, and that Cameron is now under investigation for potential impropriety regarding his campaign. So that's good.
A little shit.
Shut him up a little.
Here's the thing. Children know they're LGBTQ. I knew it. I can't speak for anybody else at the table, but I certainly knew it.
I knew.
I
Still
did
don't
not.
know.
I did not. I did not have a word for it, and the word thrown at me was pejorative. But you know, when it comes to Republicans, the cruelty is the point. We keep seeing it over and over again.
I genuinely just don't understand why people just don't want to just live their lives and, you know, this power and money. It just, I get it, but why can't you just let people be who they want to be?
You know, we had the gay agenda at the top. You know, here's the real gay agenda. We want to be left the F alone.
Right.
Period. End of statement.
What people don't know, like trans healthcare is healthcare. It's backed by all the entire scientific community, all of the organizations. So any crack doctor or any lunatic politician that tells you otherwise doesn't know what they're talking about.
Right.
I mean, especially when all the leading medical organizations are saying, so we support the trans community and we support these procedures. I don't know what makes Daniel Cameron qualified to judge anybody or anybody's choices.
Well said.
I mean,
well said. And
he really just needs a pick. So if he's listening, I would hope he finds one at CVS.
You heard?
And I feel like these people who come at us really strong, like they're trying to cover something up. Like, why do you care so much? What are you know, what's the underlining? Are you gay?
No, he'll probably find him at Ramrod.
Slammers.
I mean, the level of understanding of trans healthcare is just so fun. I mean, it's so basic. Like, you would get like a more sophisticated analysis from like an episode of South Park or something. Like, I mean, it's just so bizarre. Like how like, you know, like these dangerous drugs and like they're going into like back room. Like,
He doesn't know
he has no idea what he's talking about.
I read something recently in Nazi Germany prior to World War II. There was actually a lot of research into I don't into transgender, and it all got burned. And you know, it's like
the burning of the library and
all the books.
It's you know, and I have to wonder how much got lost, that we could be that much further ahead, but you know, for misguided people who insisted on jamming their morality down our throats.
Won't somebody think of the children?
Exactly.
Right.
I'll never forget this Handmaid's Tale episode. I love that show so much. And I'll never forget this episode where they were having like a flashback before things got bad. And one of the characters said, you know, like, they can't put us back in the closet. And so much of what is happening today feels so true to that statement.
Very eerie.
And it just doesn't make any sense to me.
Okay, well, next, let's queer up technology. Hacktivist group Gay Furries breaks into government websites in 5 states in protest of anti-trans stances. The self-described Gay Furries in the hacking group known as Sieged Sec have expanded their campaign against 5 states for their stances on transgender issues. The group, which leaked data from the Texas city of Fort Worth earlier this month, claimed that it had breached government websites belonging to the states of Nebraska, South Dakota, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, and once again, Texas. In an announcement on the breaches, which encourages readers to, quote, be gay, do crime, end quote, Sieged Sec says it targeted the Nebraska Supreme Court intranet, the website for the South Dakota Boards and Commissions, personal information from the Texas Behavioral Health Executive Council, Pennsylvania's Provider Self-Service website, as well as the website for the South Carolina Criminal Justice Information Services. The hacking group went on to state that it retrieved health-related information out of Texas and caused disruptions to systems in Pennsylvania. Most troubling, Siege Sec claimed it came across over 15,000 child care records, although it has no intention of publishing them. While much of the information itself might not be sensitive, the hackers' campaign has certainly drawn attention. The attacks appear to be a continuation of the group's campaign against states it sees as opposing gender-affirming care for transgender youth. Okay. I am all for civil disobedience. I really am, okay? I remember the ACT UP days. I still have the button.
Queer Nation, yeah.
Queer Nation.
But if you're going to hack, if you're going to go into highly secured and private records and go through all this rigmarole to try to disrupt systems, God damn it, I want to see the pictures of Lindsey Graham being a pig bottom.
This is not where I thought this was headed.
Neither did I.
I had no idea.
It's like, find something that's going to be useful. I don't need to know, you know, the ins and outs of the state's information. It's like, get me decent blackmail.
We want dirt.
I mean, I'm sure you'll find it in Donald Trump's bathroom.
Oh, I'm sure.
But
Yes.
couple
Piled up
photos.
in boxes.
And I think be gay, do crime functions well as both a mantra and a rallying cry.
I love that.
At a time when conservatives,
It's not new.
they're doing everything in their power to make laws criminalizing being LGBTQ+. So let's do it.
And
Let's
by the
be
way,
gay and do crime.
Seek Sec, if you're listening, I'm not saying you should do this, but it would be interesting if somebody just deleted all that student loan debt.
If Anonymous could go in and do that, that would be ideal, for real.
Supreme Court decision tomorrow, likely.
But here's the thing, they need to put a little money in my account because I paid mine off years ago.
There's something really powerful about this story, I think. I just want, like, that is, like, about the kind of watchdogness of, like, you know, it kind of just reminds me, as you guys said, of Queer Nation and ACT UP and like these moments that I think we need to see. I'm not saying necessarily of this, but we need to see more civil disobedience. Like,
Well, and then
when they're not being treated civilly, you disobey. Like
this Sunday, this Sunday is the 2nd of July is the We the People March here in Fort Lauderdale, and then they're doing it in other cities on other dates.
Yeah.
And I will be there.
For that,
I'm going to be there for sure.
Yes. Next, we are proud of our special partnership with Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest queer church here in Fort Lauderdale. Supporting that partnership, we are broadcasting from our permanent set here at Sunshine Cathedral at the Happening Out television studios. We broadcast Sunshine Cathedral's Sunday International Service at 10:30 a.m.
That is today's news for the LGBTQ+ community on the world's first and only daily LGBTQ+ evening news show.
If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Are you, like most of America, part of our very large television audience watching this live LGBTQ+ news broadcast right now on Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, and Amazon Fire TV?
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ+ digital television show in the world that is, in quote, out of the closet and into the headlines, end quote. We need your support. If our community is to grow, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world.
This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ+ stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight.
And that's it. I'm your anchor, Julio Capo Jr. And on behalf of these awesome LGBTQ+ reporters, the anchors of Queer News Tonight, including Jess Rachel, Gregg Shapiro, Elijah Manley, and Bob Hentschel, we'll see you daily at 8 p.m. to our LGBTQ+ world. We see you, and we wish you a good
night.
We are Queer News Tonight, the world's first and only live daily LGBTQ+ evening news show, brought to you from Happening Out Television Network. We operate in the same model of PBS and NPR, but for the LGBTQ+ community. We educate, inform, and entertain by supporting the 10 pillars of our LGBTQ+ community, with more than 100,000 a week watching us on Roku, Apple Television, and other channels. To keep the story going, we accept donations with 100% transparency. Stay updated and live authentically with Queer News Tonight.